Sup, bro? So, in order to become a great writer, you have to be a great reader and read great books. Here are the 5 books you must read in order to become a great author. Cue that intro! So, I know a lot of you will be saying, hey, wait a minute, in your first video, didn't you tell us that we shouldn't read books? Yes, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, hey, don't I just need to read Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream in order to become the best writer ever? Well, you would think that, wouldn't you? Because you're stupid. No, under no circumstances should you actually read Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream, the best book ever written, because if you do read Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream, then you'll just realize what a complete garbage heap your own brain is, and realize that your own writing is complete trash by comparison to Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream. You'll realize that you will never have even the ghost of a chance at becoming Jeannie Lenai, the person who wrote Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream. You will never be that person because you're not that person. Get it? Good. So, let's get on with the list. Now, the first book you're going to want to read is Robots Have No Tails by Henry Kuttner. Now, you're not going to want to read this book, as you might think, for the clever dialogue, the engaging characters, the brilliant premise, the clever spin on the detective genre. No. You're going to want to read this book because it has a funny name, so that when people ask you, what have you been reading, you can say, I read Robots Have No Tails by Henry Kuttner, and they'll say, Robots Have No Tails? That's a funny name for a book. And then you can say, yeah, it's a funny name for a book. Aren't I well read by reading a book like Robots Have No Tails, which has a funny name? And they'll be like, yeah, you're well read. You must write great novels if you read books like that. And you'll be like, yeah, I write great novels. And they'll be like, here's a check that's invisible for $500,000 to write a novel. Go do it. And you'll be like, thanks for the check, bro. I'm gonna go do it. And there you have it. You've written your first novel just like that. So the second book you're going to want to read is Wasp by Frank Eric Russell, or Eric Frank Russell, depending on how you're feeling, because just switch it up every day, because it doesn't matter, because he's dead, and in the end, that's all that matters, and who cares how you pronounce his name, because no one cares about dead people, even you once you die, because no one loves you. So you might be thinking with this book, it's a really great book, I should read it because it has a great plot, an incredible premise, and even Terry Pratchett recommended it. But those are stupid reasons to read the book. No, instead, if you want to be a successful author, you want to read lots of things that are involving WASPs, aka White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Now, this book isn't actually about White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, but that's not important. It just has the word WASP, and if you want to be successful as an author, you need to become more and more associated with WASPs, aka White Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Because in order to be successful in any industry, anywhere, you need to be a White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. If you're not a White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you will fail, no matter what. So the third thing you're going to want to read is some YA fiction. YA fiction is everywhere, and it's all garbage. So you want to read this because it's very popular, so people will buy it if you publish it. Now, you want to read something not at all like Hot Lunch by Alex Bradley, or anything by Alex Bradley, because Alex Bradley is a brilliant author who inverts all the premises of YA fiction and puts his own clever spins on it with brilliant characters, great setups, and all that other fun stuff. We don't want that. We want more of the same generic garbage starring a teenage girl who's probably in a love triangle, who goes to prom at some point, but not Once Upon a Prom Part 1 Dream, the greatest novel ever written, because you shouldn't read that book. So instead, just a generic piece of garbage. So any YA fiction that's not this, preferably in a post-apocalyptic setting, because that was really popular a few years ago, and you want to always be a few years behind the trend, otherwise, why are you even alive? So the third, or is it fourth? I don't know. Let's say fourth. The fourth thing you're going to want to read is some William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is considered the greatest author of the English language if you're a complete moron like Harold Bloom is. So once you have some Shakespeare, you should not actually read it since it's written all this old English stuff. You could read it in the version like I have, the No Fear Shakespeare, where it's translated into more modern English, but you shouldn't do that because then you're not reading Shakespeare, you're reading some modern language translation of Shakespeare, and that's not really Shakespeare. So just read the Old English half, but don't actually read it. Instead, just play a movie in the background, something like Fast and Furious, and while you're watching the movie, just kind of skim through the lines page at a time, and so that the next time you see people, they'll be like, what have you read recently? And you'll be like, I've been reading some Shakespeare. Now you might be thinking, hey, Wasn't I on this side just a minute ago? Well, congratulations, you moved. And movement is a sign of life. So congratulations, you're alive, so there's still hope, but not much, because you live a useless life. So now that we have Shakespeare out of the way, we're going to come to our fifth and final book. So the fifth and final book you're going to want to read is The Bolshevik Revolution Part 1 and Part 2, but not Part 3, because I don't own that part. I don't think I need to explain why you must read The Bolshevik Revolution Parts 1 and 2 in order to become a great author. This is pretty self-explanatory. If you want to be a great author, you have to read The Bolshevik Revolution Parts 1 and 2. Well, there you have it. All of the keys to success you need to becoming a great author by reading these 5 books. If you read any other books, you're wasting your time and your life. But hey, you were doing that anyway, weren't you? So be sure to smash those like and subscribe and other important buttons. And by smash, I of course mean punch your computer until it's a fragmented pile of garbage. Then throw that garbage at the nearest monkey, who will then grant you 3 wishes, such as becoming a great writer, getting me more subscribers, or wishing you had a face as handsome and beautiful as mine. So, until next time, adieu to you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you.